After the Supreme Court, now the Madras High Court has rebuked MK Stalin's son and Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin's son, Udhayanidhi Stalin, over his eradicate Sanatan Dharma remark. The High Court has said equating Sanatan Dharma to HIV, malaria and dengue is against constitutional principles and amounts to spreading misinformation. The court has also added that Udhayanidhi and other DMK leaders acted against constitutional principles. The court also called out the state minister and said constitutional post holders cannot attend events calling for eradication of Sanatan. But the larger question is, why is the DMK leadership towing this anti-Sanatan line? Do they believe Sanatan and Hindu bashing will actually get them votes? We talked about this thought continuum starting from the time of V.V. Ramaswamy Naikar. Anila Singh of the BJP continues with us, P. Pulla Rao, political analyst with us, and Ramaswamy Mayappan, lawyer, also with us. Namaste, Jai Hind to everybody. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to ask you, Mr. Pulla Rao, are there people in Bharat, especially in Tamil Nadu, who will actually give votes if Sanatan Dharma, Hindu way of life, Hindutva is bashed, like the DMK leaders are bashing right now?
Well, let me tell you, I have heard what the learned judge said today, Anita Somantri or other judges in the Supreme Court. The whole problem is, in our society, in our country, there are no borders, there are no boundaries, there is no code of conduct, there is no law. There is a law if you make caste-wise remarks. Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribe Act comes into force. There is no law at all. Whose fault is it? I may tell you that if there was a law, there were boundaries, perhaps this kind of talk, which offends others, may not come about. This government had 10 years. They could have framed a law, but of course they're hesitant to frame
Really, Mr. Pulla Rao, is that what you are saying, that there is no law? But you say something similar to about Islam, you say something similar about Christianity, you say something similar about any other religion, and then you are castigated by the same very Supreme Court and the same very High Courts under various laws of hate speech, etc. But when it comes to talking negatively about Sanatan Dharma and Hindutva, there is no law.
No, there is no law because there is nobody to take it up. Let me finish a couple of sentences. I am not in agreement with any hate speech by anybody. It is immature. And therefore, there should be a law. There should be boundaries. In such a large society as ours, what you're saying is, it affects others, they react. Why not here? Well, that's the way the system was. There are reactions. All this unpleasantness would be gone if there was a law. Perhaps anyone, any constitutional authority, talking loosely, will he lose his office? Doesn't lose his office. That's what the Justice Anita Suman said. No, I can't go there. I can only chastise you. I can only say you're wrong. But I can't say, now that you've violated constitutional principles, you lose your job because you swore by the Constitution. So definitely you think about it. There are a lot of unpleasantness, people taking liberties either way, both ways, many ways. We do require some boundaries. And I know why government is hesitant to impose these boundaries or talk about it, because they'll say, no, freedom of the speech, government is going to take away rights. But we already have similar laws as far as caste is concerned. Do we make any hate speech on certain castes, you're arrested, no bail. So perhaps this debate, you should think about this. That I'm not saying because there are no boundaries, you talk as you like. Because there are no boundaries, some people talk as they like.
But there are laws, Ramaswamy Mayappan, correct me if I'm wrong, there are laws on hate speech and taking on and talking negatively about any faith, any way of life that is practiced in Bharat comes under hate speech. If you are hurting sentiments of people, common public, and that could create social strife, then it comes under hate speech. Whoever makes that hate speech should be bound by the law, whether they are in a constitutional position or not. What constitutional position is Andimuthu Raja in?
True. Anand, you are absolutely right. So there are two positions that we'll have to look at. One, the law that's presently in place. The Indian Penal Code provides for the same hate speech and to act against hate speech instances. Similarly, the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita that is in place, that's to be notified and come into effect in July, both have the same provisions. One. Two, has action not been taken in the past against people who made such speeches? Action has been taken. In fact, let us look at the statements made and the judgment of the Honorable Court today. The Honorable Court categorically held whatever has been stated is wrong, erroneous, unconstitutional, does not suit the position that he comes from. And should action be taken? Yes, action should be taken. Who's the agency that says action should be taken? Action should be taken by the state law enforcement agency. But sadly, because he's a minister, his father is the chief minister, The state law enforcement agency, the police here, is refusing to file an FIR, refusing to inquire into the matter. And the Supreme Court categorically questioned the same yesterday. And now look at this, why they are doing this? Two things. One, divisiveness. In India, we've heard of, in our history lessons, the Britishers were divisive. They looked at dividing India on religious lines, communal caste lines, and other lines. Although we look at DMK today, DMK talks of divisiveness. Let it be caste, community, economics, region, language, whatever it is, only divisiveness works for them. Whatever British have left over, I have a feeling that the DMK has taken up and said, let us divide India, let us divide Tamil Nadu, let us divide people into different categories. This is what will keep us in power forever. But whereas, look at the political position that Narendra Modi goes to campaign with across the country. He organized the Kasi Tamil Sangamam. He's talking about unifying feelings in UP, methods of worship in Tamil Nadu. These things come together.
But
he talks about Tamils
then you're proving the
country.
theory that in Tamil Nadu, those who speak the divisive language have the mandate. Look at who's got the mandate in Tamil Nadu. Where is the BJP in Tamil Nadu and where is the DMK in Tamil Nadu? Anila Singh ji, the other question, ma'am, is the BJP, the largest party in the whole wide world, has perhaps the most prolific and proficient of lawyers also. How many of them have taken the DMK leaders to court? How many of them have filed an urgent plea? How many of them have turned around and taken umbrage to the comments that have been made?
My Ram Ram to all once again. And Anand, it is not a fight amongst two political parties. It was an insult for Sanatanis. So let us not politicize it. The thing is, who has given this minister from DMK, son of the chief minister, to insult Sanatanis? Calling them virus, HIV, dengue, this is what he mentioned. And who was singing behind in chorus? Mr. Kharge's son. So the thing is, if Supreme Court is not there, or I can say if judicial system is not there in our country, then what would have happened? I mean, such people, time and again, they keep on insulting Sanatanis. Lately, we have seen A. Raja, again a leader from DMK. What he said about Bhagwan Ram, Arey Ram kuch nahi hote hain, thu chichi, idiots. He called Sanatanis idiots. So this is the characteristic of DMK party, which is an allied partner of India Alliance. Anila Singh ji, with due respect, ma'am. The moment Nupur Sharma made a comment and 2 weeks later this television debate was raised by certain international agencies and entities, there was Sartan Se Juda call on the streets and there was a huge sermonization that came from the courts because there were people who moved court immediately and wanted action and the courts to intervene. My question to you, ma'am, is that those who stand here and abuse Sanatan Dharma, because the society is mature, because the society is responsible, because the society is sensible, is that supposed to be a sign of weakness that people can get away with what they can say and the courts can say, oh, there is no craziness on the streets, there is no calls for Sartan Se Juda, so let's not intervene and let's just keep quiet. Is that the message that collectively society, polity and the courts, judiciary as a whole are sending out? That go ahead and bash Hindus, go ahead and bash those who are mature, go ahead and bash those who are sensible, go ahead and bash those who are peaceful and tolerant. See, I cannot comment on judicial system of our country, but I know one thing. Being a Sanatani, I know this thing, that we are very tolerant. That is why, being a tolerant, they think that it is our weakness. No, we are not weak. History tells that. Do not challenge us. We know how to answer back. But the thing is, we are living in a democratic system. So definitely, I am proud of Supreme Court. Supreme Court has reprimanded DMK.
But has anybody gone to the Supreme Court asking them to take cognizance since they will not do it suo motu? Has anybody gone to the Madras High Court and asked them to come down heavily?
Again, I'm going to say this thing, I cannot comment on the judicial system of this country. But the reality is, being a BJP, not only as a BJP worker, but as a Sanatani, such thing is not going to be tolerated, at least in this date.
Or is the BJP all right for it to become a debate on television shows and it become a matter of public ire because it helps them politically? Let the likes of Mr. Raja and so many others go ahead and say what they want to say because it helps our political cause.
Anandji, did Bharatiya Janata Party tell you to pick up this debate tonight? No. No political party, at least I know about Bharatiya Janata Party, we do not dictate terms.
It is the sweet will of media channels if they want to debate about it or not. But now at least I know that Sanatanis are very well awakened, and nobody can, just simply pass by giving such comments. So such hue and cry was made when this minister of DMK, son of Chief Minister Stalin, when he made dirty comments on Sanatan. And yesterday also I was on debate about what A. Raja said again about Bhagwan Shri Ram. So debate should happen, because if we talk about the national media, through that channel, that platform, crores of people, they come to know that what type of mindset such political parties have.
No, but these are being said, and these utterances are being made in public rallies. These utterances are being made in public rallies in front of people who the DMK and these people believe they'll come back and give them votes. So is that what the constituency is? Is there a constituency that actually likes hearing such kind of vitriol and such kind of words, and they will go ahead and vote for this? Pulla Rauji wanted to say something, and then Ramaswamy Mayappan. Yes.
No, the main thing is what your question you asked. Why did no BJP lawyer take it up? That question I can answer. Because they don't want to. They could very well have taken it up. They got a galaxy of lawyers because they also find maybe what I have said, maybe, that there is no law which applies to it. They feel maybe, why should I get into it? Nobody did it. Suo some other person filed a complaint and it went on. That's the first thing I have said. And the other thing is there is a constituency for this kind of speech. And there is also a counter constituency for saying, you're against the speech. And I think it's very wrong, being very familiar with Tamil Nadu. There are people who have been doing this, as you very well know, for the last 100 years or 95 years. From 1925, they've been doing this.
Yes.
And there's, when I say this, some other people may not understand it. You, I know, would understand it. They've been saying it. It's a background noise, but it is also effective. Those who are saying it want to convey a message to somebody. It's a signal that I'm with you. But those who are offended, they do nothing. So obviously, is there a constituency for that? That also what you have answered yourself. There is, yes. Why are they so helpless if they are angry? So obviously they are not angry. And I go back again, Anand. There is no law as such. There are vague laws. I don't dispute what Mr. Mayappan said. There are vague laws. Otherwise people would have want to quote. The public fury which you have cited, that itself captures newspaper headlines. And then the court likes to act on such things. This kind of noise, they like to act. But there is no law. I can definitely ask anyone to show me a law. This comes under. And I believe we need a law.
So you're saying that anybody can make any comment and get away with it as long as there is no public fury? And unless there is public fury, then that is by default it is trying to say that, okay, what is grabbing the headlines, let's react to that. What is not grabbing the headlines, let's not react to that. Forget the balance and equation of law. Ramaswamy Mayappan, is that how the courts of our country will look? That one person gets jailed, another person gets sermonized, ostracized and demonized, and a third person just gets a small rebuke and remand and says, please don't do it again?
And first, I'd like to thank the media, the fourth pillar of our democracy, for taking this message across to the public. The public need awareness, the public need to know what's happening, why these people are making these comments, how they are making it, and why they are getting away with it. So first, thanks to the media, the fourth pillar, for that reason. One. Two, now when talking about judiciary is being very conversant with the issue. If you look at the Supreme Court, yesterday, the Supreme Court strongly condemned this. Today, the Madras High Court once again condemned. All that the Madras High Court is saying is that there is a procedure to be adopted. Let the Speaker take his call, let the legislature take its call, let the police register an FIR. The sad part about it is here the law machinery and the legislature is with the control of the DMK. Therefore, that action is slow. And here, like you rightly said, lawyers will have to act up and act fast. It's not that there is lack of law. The Indian Penal Code is strong enough to act on this. The National Honours Act is strong enough to act on this. Statements like the ones that A. Raja made that India is not a nation could easily be brought under that. And he could have been, at least he could have been charged and let an inquiry be taken up. But the concern is this. Given that the Sanatanis have been very tolerant for years, today these politicians think they can get away with it. But I think times are changing, that there are more petitions that are being filed. I think about 10 years back, hardly one case or one complaint would have been registered. But today times have changed, and against Udhayanidhi, in Madras, one petition was filed. Because the Supreme Court, there are 3 petitions, and people have made efforts to file FIR. But I think this needs to grow. It doesn't have to turn into fury. I think tolerance needs to reduce, because where someone's right starts, my right ends. That is not just for common citizens, but also for politicians. Politicians cannot take their rights for granted. The privilege that they enjoy within the legislature is not what's available to them outside the house. They have to be more sensible, they have to be more responsible, and they have to be concerned with what the people want. And I think the people will also start teaching their lesson. Thanks to the media like you that you're bringing it to the fore, I think the ballot boxes will show that which button will be pressed when it comes to election.
Pula Rauji wanted to say something and then Anila Singh.
One small thing. Yesterday's Supreme Court judgment was very good. They said an MP, MLA has full freedom to vote as he likes, talk as he likes, but he can't take money for it. That's an independent thing. Taking money is bribery. That kind of code of conduct, that kind of law is absent. We are hearing it every day. And I believe in this harmony business applies to all religions, or also unnecessary society is getting ruptured. And that there has been failure on the part of the government, I think, that they have not woken up to these tensions. And then they say he's creating trouble, he's doing this. Why? I mean, they say freedom of expression, because though it sounds very careless, though it sounds, I could be said, I don't care. It's not that. There are no limits. There are no limits. People will exploit. People will do things. If there was no limit that children should not be exploited, they will be exploited. Sadly, that's human nature. There is a lapse on the part of the government. There's a lapse on the part of the judiciary. The same judiciary which said you can't take money, you can say anything you want, do anything you want. You can support any legislation. That's what the Supreme Court said. Why haven't they said it in this case? That's the question you should consider.
Anila Singh?
Anand, I really fail to understand that why Mr. Rao had said time and again that there is no law against what Mr. Udhayanidhi has said, whatever he said, how he insulted the Sanatanis. What about the Constitution? What about the rights from Article 25 to 28, which says that you have freedom to practice your religion? So whatever he said, don't you think it is against the spirit of Constitution, the right which Constitution has given to the people of India?
Yeah, but can the Madras High Court legally take action against somebody who's in a constitutional position or an elected position in a birth of ministry when he makes a speech like this? Is there a law? That's what Mr. Pula Rao is asking.
One small thing.
Secondly,
there is no law.
Secondly, freedom also has to go hand in hand with fear. Fear of the law.
Anand, I'm with you here. Anand,
fear of reprimand. Fear of being put behind bars if you breach the freedom. Is it there? Especially with respect to the Hindu way of life in Hindustan. That's the bigger question. Ram Sobhi.
Anand, the nature of difference. Anand, a question that was asked before this court was a co-warrantor. Is he qualified to be there? Although the court could have said today is that he's not disqualified yet because no action has been taken. What appropriate action, like you said, is one lawyer like me should have approached the court asking for directions through the criminal original petition to register an FIR and take action against Udhayanidhi Stalin, which the police is refraining to do for almost about a year now. So if that kind of an action, then the court could have directed the police to say that you will have to inquire into the matter, you will have to register an FIR, and appropriate action needs to be taken. I think the legislative court, the recourse that have been taken here through the judicial process is what is weak. And I think there more lawyers, more citizens who are valid will have to step in and
so in Bengal, Pula Raoji, Mamata Banerjee will shield Sheikh Shah Jahan, not hand him over to the CBI, hold him away and resist his arrest for 55 days after his goons and his people attack the ED, and he's alleged to be the mastermind of that attack. In Tamil Nadu, the Tamil Nadu police will not file FIRs. Even after court's directions in Bengal, FIR is filed with bailable options. The court makes an observation, nothing beyond that. In Tamil Nadu, anybody who says anything against the government is put behind bars, but anybody who says anything against Sanatan Dharma gets a free pass, gets a free run. So this is democracy. These are rulers, these are governors, these are people, elected representatives who are going to uphold democracy. Whereas the center which brings up the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita to reform the laws of our country are forming a police state, are laying the grounds for a police state.
See, because there was no law, the court didn't do anything. What Mr. Mayappan just said is some lawyer should go file it in the court. Why should they do that?
Because the cops have not filed an FIR, sir.
Yes.
The cops have not registered a complaint. Law has to be first enforced before it is judged or ruled in the courts.
Correct. That's why I said they say there is no law. It's vague. This can't be quantified. What abuse I said can't be quantified. You need quantification for the law to come into force. You need definite.
Sir, there has to be an FIR under sections that determine hate speech that has hurt the sentiments of society and could have been laying the grounds for causing public strife. And these laws are already present on which an FIR could have been registered. That FIR has not yet been registered. So there is a law that can be interpreted, but it has not been interpreted by those who are supposed to enforce the law, Mr. Pularao. So who's to be blamed here?
So, it should be unambiguous.
So under the DMK's regime, not just activists, not just politicians. Sorry, sir, to intervene. Under the DMK's regime, not just politicians, not just actives have been registered with cases. Even journalists, editors of newspapers, editors of media agencies have been registered with 153 and 295A, saying that they are causing hatred and communal
The simple point is those who claim to be holding up the pillars of democracy and saying we are the only ones who are going to keep democracy alive today are behaving in the perhaps the most autocratic manner that has been on display in the recent past. That's the big thing, and nobody is making a hue and cry about it. Those upholders of civil rights are all mute of what is happening in Bengal, what is happening in Tamil Nadu. Thank you very much. I have to wind up on that note. Points to ponder, ladies and gentlemen, as we take a very short break. When we come back, the latest on the Rameshwaram Cafe blast. Stay with us.